And thank you for watching KTN News, and welcome back as we continue with the County Focus Edition for Bungoma County. On set is Governor Bungoma County, Kenneth Lusaka, as we continue with the conversations on where the county is with regard to serving its citizens. And before we went on the break, we were just talking about matters to do with budgets and all that. And now, Governor, as we talk about issues to do with budgets and funding the counties, it is not an easy thing to fund a county. And there is the shareable revenue and also the allocations that you get from the national government, and there has been push and pull recently on the counties were requiring 408 billion shillings, but upon mediation you settled on 400 billion shillings. Now, in terms of budget sufficiency, what you get to be able to serve your citizens from the national government, is it enough? And if not, where does the solution lie? You've alluded to on-source revenue. How much are you collecting now, and what's the focus in the near future?
Yeah, like I said, the money that we get cannot be enough. And it's not enough because, again, the expectations are in the skies. A lot of competing interests, like I've said, you don't know what you want to fix because like everything needs to be fixed, and yet the money is not there. It has not been easy even for the national government. Sometimes, they explain it's not very easy for the national government to release the funds, to increase. It has always been a pull. In fact, normally, I am lucky because I've also served as a speaker of the Senate. So they are normally SRC, not SRC, Commission of Revenue, allocation. We have the Senate, whose mandate is to divide the money between the national government, the county government. Then we have the National Assembly that now appropriates, that discusses the budget, and all these three stakeholders come up with their own figures. Like last time, it had to end up in mediation, and mediation we had wanted 408. It came to, in fact, during my time, when I was a speaker, we remember when the shareable revenue formula failed 11 times. That is when it shot. The government increased by over 50 billion, and that's how it went from 315, where it had stayed for a long time, to 370. So what we are saying is that the share is not enough. If we can increase, maybe say the minimum of about 45, like had been proposed. I think that's what had been proposed in the collapse BBI. If we can put a minimum of say 45 billion and 45% to go to the counties. After all, Kenya is made up of counties. This money is not going to develop Uganda or Tanzania. It's going to develop Kenya, but in a county, so that then we can have these funds in the counties, and then we do the development. That will really work out. And then also mop up some money that is still, say, being held by the national government. And I remember last time when we met with the president in the summit, he actually agreed with us that, for example, the purchase of fertilizer, I said, if you want to purchase fertilizers at road function, I have no problem, so long as you go to purchase fertilizer. I remember even when he signed the additional grants allocation, the money for example, fertilizers had been factored in what he signed that act, but the money never came to us. So some of that money, like in health, agriculture, if it can be mopped and sent to the counties, that will be better. But the solution, again, lies with the on-source revenue. If we increase our on-source revenue, that will benefit. But again, that cannot work for all. The counties are also not the same. For example, we have counties like Kajiado or Narok who have a park, for example. It will be very easy for them to raise a lot of that. There's a lot of money in, for example, Narok, and yet again, when you look at the population, it's not so much. If you come, for example, to Bungoma, then you only rely on maybe licenses and that kind of thing. You go to some other counties that have a lot of, you go, for example, to Kiambu, or or if you go to a county that has maybe some minerals, then you find that their on-source revenue, if it's properly managed, it can really raise their revenue. But that is the way to go. Otherwise, relying on shareable revenue alone, we are going to take very long to get where we want to go. Because again, like I said, right now, we are on March. This is May. We have just received the allocation disbursement for March. So there is April, May, and then there's June. We are just praying like that, just like it happened the last financial year, that the National Treasury will be able to release all this money by the end of the financial year so that we are able to spend. And again, they should not release it too late. Sometimes, it comes too late, you can't really absorb the money. So that also becomes a challenge.
And I actually wanted to bring you there, where now here's a question where there is all these budgets that the counties are asking for. Now you've been given the monies, but it ends up going back to Treasury because of the utilization of these funds. So where does the problem lie? Is it on when it's being disbursed, or just some counties are not able to utilize all these funds?
You know, there's been that misconception, and sometimes it comes from the reporting, the way it's reported by the control of budget, like these counties are unable to spend money on development, or they did not spend any money on. I don't think that there is a governor in this country who, in his right mind or her right mind, does not want development for that area. That is a political suicide. Every governor is voted on account of what you can deliver. You have a manifesto to deliver to the people, and therefore, I don't think a governor can just sit there with development money. Sometimes the bureaucracy is so much. Things go maybe sometimes to the control of budget, or they go to Treasury, or it takes too long. Sometimes the procurement process takes a bit longer, and when this money comes in, like now we are going towards the end of the financial year, you realize that maybe they may release all the money for 2 months at once. Then the bureaucracy there does not allow you to spend this money as quickly as you want to do it. So, but if it was to come in a timely manner, and the procurement is also done early enough, because it's what we call the procurement plan. You know what you want to procure, and you know how much it's going to cost. So you'll just put the processes in place, and once the money comes, you just process as quickly as possible to be able to do that. But unfortunately, that is not what happens in real life. So we have a lot of those challenges.
And Governor, these monies come to the counties, and there's always the fear that there is misappropriation of these funds. So in terms of the county government of Bungoma County, what are some of the measures you've put in place to make sure that when this money gets to the county, it is not misappropriated by individuals? It's pretty much comes to serve its purpose.
Again, I don't know why everybody just feels like there is counties are just misappropriating funds. That is a very wrong notion, and it's a very bad narrative. Because actually, if you look at most governors, they are people of substance. They are people who have come from very serious, rich backgrounds. Even looking at myself, I'm not praising myself, but I have grown in the public service for over 35 years, having risen up to the level of a permanent secretary. I have been a governor, I've been a speaker. So sometimes when people talk about me, you'd imagine that I'm such a foolish fellow who does not even understand government procedure and what goes on. And I'm not alone. There are many. Look at governors like Orengo, governors like Anyang' Nyong'o, governors, you can name them. There are people who have served in various positions in this republic. So I think I'm not saying that misappropriation does not take place, but we want to get away from that narrative. Like counties are just there to misappropriate funds, and they are not doing this, because all these problems is a problem that is even at the national government. We must face it, seal loopholes where money can go. And like I said, one of the areas is in procurement. If we can, for example, automate procurement, and say that if you want a tender, you just go key in, and if you have won, you have got the right thing, you are able to get that tender without having to lobby, or saying so and so is the one getting tenders and that kind of thing. That is the day we shall cure some of these things that we are talking about. Otherwise, it will be difficult. We'll continue talking about it, we'll continue complaining. But I think that county governments are not as bad as we do. But it's like somebody just wants to look for mistakes, look for issues. And sometimes, when you're talking about audit queries, even the auditor's office itself has audit queries. You see, they audit, but they also have audit queries themselves. So these are things, an audit query, auditors is supposed to be a management tool. It should not be a witch-hunting tool. It's supposed to be just to be alerting or assisting you to manage better. For example, when they say you are given an impress and you're supposed to surrender within 48 hours, and auditors come and maybe they don't find documentation, then they say that is there are no documents and that money has been misappropriated. Maybe somebody fell sick or something like that. So we are saying that counties, we must encourage our counties to grow. We must identify the weaknesses that exist. But you cannot just condemn counties and say, these are places where theft is taking place. Those who are talking about theft in the counties are themselves stealing even more. So I think we need to we need to change the narrative and the conversation so that we encourage counties also to perform, to do well.
And you see, Governor, good thing you've talked in terms of one of the ways to go about it is to go digital, seal all these loopholes. And the fact that you are implementing that, I think, is a model example for others to follow. And Governor, I just want us now to get into the politics of the region now. There is the elusive Luya unity that is every time being spoken about. This county, we know back in 2022, is one county that voted differently from all the other counties in the region. And as we talk about the elusive Luya unity, how are you as leaders of this region working to ensure that you speak in one voice?
Yes, there's a lot of progress. Let me just give you yesterday. His Excellency the President we had lunch, dinner with all elected members of Parliament, senators and governors from this region. And even before that, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Wetangula, has been having a conversation, has been going to most of these constituencies, talking about, development, doing contributions. I think we are now getting somewhere that we want to now start galvanizing. And even as governors, we have also started what we're calling, for lack of a better word, a merry-go-round. We were in Kakamega, we were in church. Last Sunday, we were in Busia. June, this month that we have started, we are coming to Bungoma. We'll go to Trans Nzoia, then we'll go to Vihiga. Once we do that, we also want to bring members of Parliament, members of County Assembly. Once we are now together, we can then agree as a region, where do we go? Where do we want to go politically? Because the political unity is what has become very evasive. And this is just because of self-interest. People must be able to sacrifice, understand that so and so, you may be older, but I may be younger, but with better ideas, or you might also be younger and therefore need a bit of time to understand the politics. But we must also learn the competencies and strengths of certain leaders. And then we also, all of us cannot be presidents, for example. So we need to invest in a leadership. And other regions have given us very good examples. If you go to Nyanza, you find that for a long time, Raila Odinga has been groomed and he has come up as one of the leaders of that region. And therefore, and they said if you are a leader and you have no followers, you're just taking a walk. So you must be able to have people. And as a leader, if you want to know you are a leader, is when you tell your people, let us go in this direction, they listen to you and go with you in that direction that you're giving them. When you tell them, let's go this way, they follow you. But when you tell people and they are not following you, then you are not providing leadership. And you talked about 2022 elections, for example, for Bungoma. Our people listened to us because the campaign was led by the then Senator Wetangula, myself, as a governor, and members of Parliament. And we went and talked to our people and told them, look, the way things are going, we think that our stakes will be better if we went to Kenya Kwanza. And politics is about interest. And it has paid dividends. We know why even the Madaraka Day has come very fast here. Is because of the way we voted, because someone said choices have consequences. So the Luya unit is not elusive. We're not even now talking about Luya unity. We're talking about the regional, these regions, because we have suburbs, we have Tesos, we have other people who are also living here. We're now talking about unity of purpose. Why do we want to come together? Why do we want to unite? But at some point, we must accept to galvanize, to go around one leader. Because again, you can't have two. You must have one. We must say, this is the one we are going to follow. We will sit down. Let's look at his vision so that we share in the vision. It becomes a vision bearer. And all of us now say, we are going to share in this vision. But for now, let us come together. Then somebody will, if we say so and so is going to lead us, we are able to move in that direction.
And there are other people who are talking on the side. I'll give you an example. We have the governor for Trans Nzoia who's leading the Tawi movement, and he's saying that there is no way we can be behind someone who's been in power. For instance, that is the National Assembly Speaker, Moses Wetangula, for 30 years, but nothing has come to this region. Therefore, how do you deal with these talks on the side and still speak still bring everybody together and also speak politics of development?
My colleague Natembe worked with him together. In fact, he took over from him in Moranga. We will talk to Natembe because I'm sure he'll also be able to listen. You cannot be alone. You cannot be a lone ranger. I mean, we want to sit down and listen to what is this that you are saying. Is it making sense? Or what direction do you want to go? Because again, you can't just dismiss, because some of those things are not also true. Because you can't just say like somebody like Speaker Wetangula has not done anything. There are a lot of things, projects that we can show. There is, you go to Sichei, there is an MTC, which when he was the Minister for Foreign Affairs, he lobbied through the Iranian government and they were able to build it. There are people who have been appointed when he was the Minister for Foreign Affairs as ambassadors. There are other things that he has continued to do. So sometimes that narrative, some of them are just personal things. And like I said, we must learn to invest in leadership. Because again, look at how long it took Kibaki to eventually become the President of the Republic of Kenya. He was in opposition, he was in government, he was a vice president, he went to opposition, failed an election, eventually he became president. Uhuru Kenyatta also went, he failed, in fact, as a member of parliament, he failed as a president, eventually he became the president. Look at other people in other regions. Even here in Bungoma, we had Alfred Sambu, who failed 20 years, but eventually became a member of parliament. So that investment in leadership, when you also see somebody there, it also respects some experience. Because you can't just come and because even you, when you get, we also start asking you now, because you have also been a leader. So also show us what you have done for the years that you have served in that particular position. May I have been a PS, I can tell you, I can show you the people that I employed when I was a PS, when I was a speaker, when I was a governor my first term. There are things that I can point to which I have done. So even as you say, so and so may have stayed there for many years, then we know, let's also do an internal audit. So what have you also done yourself in that particular position? But I think the most important thing is that let us sit down. You see, everybody has a democratic right to say what they want to say. Let us sit down. Let us not just dismiss you, but let us tell us what you want to tell us, and we'll also tell you this is what we think. But if you also become a lone ranger, then you'll not get far. You need to go with other people.
Governor, 2013, 2017, Governor, 2017, 2022, Senator. 2022, as we go to 2027, you are the governor. You've seen what didn't work before and how to change that. How are you working with the learned past mistakes moving forward for the people of Bungoma?
Yeah, my first time when I came in, okay, there's a lot that we did, but I had been in public service as a civil servant for a long time. I just came to become a governor, having been a permanent secretary, and I believed in delegating. I don't believe, my management style was like the Kibaki. When I give you an opportunity, I give you room to work. I want you to serve because I trust you and believe in you. But then I realized that not everybody will do what you expect him to do. So this time round, I have come and I am a bit hands-on to know exactly what is going on. And the things that I did in my first term that I will not do in this term. I may not talk so much, but I really know exactly now what is going on, say, in every ministry. And there's a lot of work that is going on. In fact, people are saying the Lusaka 1 and Lusaka 2 are different. True. Because my management style then was completely different from my management style this time. And even when I became a speaker, there are also lessons that I learned because I was now sitting, from where I was sitting, I have a bird's eye view of what was really going on even in other counties. When I looked at some of the reports that were coming from some counties, you really realize that there are problems and, there are people out here who need help. So I think for now, you can see a lot of things are also happening here. And again, there are things that you may not do directly even as a governor. For example, during my first term, I used my proximity to power, the powers that be then, Uhuru Kenyatta. This road from Chwele to Oaxaca. Actually, I'm the one who went and asked the president. And you remember, those who are honest know that when the president came to my Thanksgiving in 2014, May, that's when I asked for that road. I asked for Kibabi to be given a charter. It got a charter. The Chwele Oaxaca road was tarmacked, and also started the Misihu Brigadier Road. So sometimes you can use your proximity to power to get the things that you want. For example, there are things that the national government has done, the things that we talked about earlier, that the national government has done because of the Madaraka has come here. Again, it is because of our proximity to power that the president came here and these things have been done. So I may not have done them directly as a governor or as a county government, but my relationship with the presidency my relationship with the powers that be have made these things happen.
Governor, finally, today we had a game at the Masinde Muliro Stadium. Which team were you supporting? And did it win or lose?
I was a bit conflicted because I am a patron. I'm also a patron of the FC Leopards. I'm a strong supporter of FC Leopards. In fact, at some point when they were about to be relegated, I bailed them out. Now I find myself as a governor in Bungoma, where Nzoia also is, and they also look up to me to support them. So I've also supported them quite a bit as their governor. So today, when FC was playing against Nzoia, I was a bit conflicted, but of course I would have wanted AFC to win. But again, it was good for Nzoia to win because being the home team, it was only fair that they don't lose here. And again, but it's also historical. I have a very good history that AFC Leopard has never beaten Nzoia in Bungoma. The same as Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia has never won a game in Bungoma. So for today, I was happy that Nzoia won because it was a home team, and it was only fair that since the function was here, it would have been unfair for them to lose to FC Leopards. But both teams are good. Just like twins are born the same day, but one must come out first.
And with the new stadium, it will even be difficult?
With the new stadium, it's going to be extreme. That Kandui stadium is has buried very big teams. No team comes here and goes. The fact the worst will be a draw. But to come and beat Nzoia or any team in Bungoma and Kandui is normally very difficult. Right.
That is Governor 039 Ken Lusaka of Bungoma County, the county that is seen as the breadbasket of this country. And as we speak about Madaraka Day celebrations, talking about matters to do with agriculture and food security, a lot has been said to that. And also the agripreneurs who have been commissioned today by the president will go across all the 47 counties, 18,000 of them, to make sure that agriculture continues to grow, that this country continues to be food secure as we move forward. And even as the governor says, a lot is being done in this county, that the political wise, a lot is being done, everyone to come together so that as a region it moves together. And this is the county edition. My name is Dennis Aseto. We have been pitching tent here, but we are not yet done. Tomorrow we have another engagement, and KTN News will be coming to you live. Asante sana Bwana Governor. Bungoma County has been great to us. A little bit chilly, but I know it's gonna be warm. Enjoy the rest of your viewing, and good night.